I have a question. It has to do with my favorite Houston Astros player, Jeremy Peña. Do you guys think that he is safe? He was working at Raising Cane's yesterday as part of a promotion. Listen for yourself and tell me whether or not you think Jeremy Peña will be jumped by a random screaming girl on the side of the road, at a mall, or at any public appearance ever. Hell, maybe even like that guy that went streaking. Excuse me, he didn't go streaking. That guy who ran onto the field at the ALCS to hug Jose Altuve. Maybe some girl runs onto the field and tries to hug him because holy shit, you need to listen to this. I mean, all that's happening right there is he is standing in a Raising Cane's fast food window with the window open, leaning out, and giving away food. And they are cheering him like he is Elvis or the Beatles or insert boy band from the 90s. Justin Bieber. It's fucking ridiculous. E315 says there are some Astros Karens that will try to suck his Peña off. I get where you're going with that. I mean, I think that they will eat him alive if they catch him out in public. I think that Jeremy Peña needs armed security. And this phenomenon, I don't know if it was going on earlier this year, but ever since he won ALCS MVP and World Series MVP, everyone is all over him. E315 continues saying, Correa is jealous. I think that Peña's girlfriend is going to be jealous. I guess he has one. Mauricio Dubon, after the Astros parade, was asked about the craziest thing that he saw during the parade. Here is what he had to say.
What was like the craziest thing you saw in the crowd when you were on the parade?
Oh, I saw probably 100,000 signs that says "Marry Me, Peña." So that thing was unreal.
So a popular guy.
He is a very popular guy out here.
So you get it. I mean, he's a handsome kid. 25 years old. I do believe single from a engaged perspective or married perspective. Wonder how long that lasts. No offense to the significant other of the moment. There is a lot of temptation out there. But there's also a lot of creepy temptation, and I can't help but think about that scene in the movie Misery by Kathy Bates. Kathy Bates, who is obsessed with James Caan's character and author, wants him to write a book for her, I think is the premise. I've never seen it, but I know that after trapping him at this cold, abandoned motel, she breaks his ankle so that he can't leave. It's fucking scary. I feel like Jeremy Peña needs full-time security. I also have a question. Why is it that we became so obsessed as a society with boy bands? Let's just go down memory lane here, okay? This is a slideshow from retropon.com with pictures of boy bands from back in the day. Here are the Backstreet Boys. I mean, they all kind of look like goobers, classic 90s. But that's just me. In Sync. Looking Justin Timberlake's hair. Man, the 90s, we really like to spike the hair up and frost them a bit. Hanson. These are children. 98 Degrees. Look, it's Nick Lachey, who for some reason was prominently featured in the Ken Griffey Jr. documentary for the Cincinnati Reds fan perspective, and also is the host of Love is Blind. What the fuck is up with that guy's fedora? O-Town. Remember that TV show, Making the Band? On ABC? Again, the fuck is this hat? What is going on here? It's like a balloon. Westlife, which is, I guess, a Simon Cowell of American Idol. Famed creation. BB Mac. What? I never heard of BB Mac. Oh, British band. 5. Dream Street. Yeah, okay. So there were a lot of boy bands back in the day. But why the fuck do women or the ladies or girls go fucking crazy when someone like Elvis or Justin Bieber or whoever in between sings? Like, why do they scream? I've never been able to figure that out. Is it because one person does it and they all join in and it becomes just like mob mentality? The Guardian had a very funny write-up on this. This is from December 7th of 2012 by an older woman named Deborah Orr, at least based off of her profile picture. Here's the article. And this is it. It's a very small article. Most of the article, in fact, is like, hey, please donate to The Guardian. Fuck that. One Direction are currently the most popular boy band in the world. Apparently. Their job is to stroll about on a stage with shiny hair and nice, clean clothes, warbling cliched inanities, while binders full of girls in their early teens scream at them. The ritual whereby young girls scream at male stars has been part of youth culture since the middle of the 20th century. Psychologists say girls get together and scream at boys as an expression of their fears about reaching sexual maturity. Well, what do you think? You're a woman. Did you ever do this? They can't imagine feeling desire for anyone. Jesus, this is getting depressing. Least of all the kids at school, so they fixate on unreachable, unthreatening stars, usually clean-cut pretty lads, and practice feeling lovelorn and rejected in a group therapy context instead. What? That's why they scream? No one seems to think these displays might signify what screams usually signify: cries of panic or fear, cries for help. Our culture shrugs indulgently at little girls who greet womanhood with a fit of uncontrolled caterwauling, and at young men who have been brought up to believe such a display is worth some kind of serious measure of their talent or worth. Maybe it's time to ask ourselves instead what we really think is going on here. I want you to fucking tell me, Deborah. Jesus. What is this article? Do we have more details on why women lose their minds when they see a boy band? This is a piece from thestar.com. Since the splashdown of Elvis Presley in 1956, the American media has often characterized the din of young female fans gathered in the presence of a pop idol as, quote, hysteria, a description that denigrates their musical engagement, according to a 2003 article written by Australian researcher Sarah Baker. Okay, that makes sense. Not only do these screaming, crushing bodies animate these spaces, but they make the pop experience feel intensely real for both the girls involved and the wider public. Why, though? Like, intensely real? What? So when the lights go down at a 21st century boy band review, we aren't hearing a helpless, hysteric howl. We're hearing a complex expression of individualism and collectivity, perhaps with a dash of Darwin thrown in. Okay, now this person's trying to be fucking cool. Who the fuck wrote this? Chris Richards. Of course, it's the goddamn Post. The Washington Post. Sociologists have different names for different types of crowds. The noisy throngs at a pop concert qualify as an expressive crowd, a gathering in which the participants are given implicit permission to abandon decorum and freak out. When men cry at a sports event, it's very similar to the screaming that takes place at a One Direction concert, says author Rachel Simmons. Is it? How many men cry at a sports event? That only happens if your team wins an incredible game and you're there with your dad and he's like dying or some shit like that, right? Like, I'm emotionally available, I think. But I don't think that crying at a sporting event is similar to fucking screaming by a bunch of girls at a concert. It wouldn't be okay for men to do that anywhere else. But the sporting event sanctions that behavior. I don't think crying happens that much there. I don't. Unless you're like a teenager. Maybe that's the point, though. Maybe it's about teenager stuff. Simmons, who wrote The Curse of the Good Girl, where she argues the young women are unfairly asked to squeeze into an impossible mold of politeness and modesty. Okay, yeah, that... That's a lot of crap. This article is dated. Instagram, politeness and modesty, that shit's out the window. You do not have to do that anymore. Or you just don't care about that anymore. Yeah, this article does not explain it. Bad job. Bad job, thestar.com with this co-opted article from the Washington Post.